Hey everyone, I'm Bueller from Comics with Bueller, and you're watching Comic Book Addicts. And that's Larry Hama right behind me. Very cool. Later.
Hell yeah, Larry Hama and Bueller. What's up, y'all? What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great Monday so far. We have started off the Monday night lineup strong with Izzy and the Izzyverse with his comic book weekly pull list. If you checked it out, he had Evil Mike as the special guest this evening. Had a fun time over there as usual. But yeah, the Monday night lineup, it all kicks off with Izzyverse. If you've never checked it out before, check out Izzyverse NYC on YouTube. A lot of fun every Monday starting at 6:30. But anyways, how's everybody doing? It's Monday, December 4th. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope your week's off to a good start. I know that mine is. Mine's going pretty well so far. I'm hanging out with you guys and ready to have a good time. We got a good guest tonight. Brandon's an awesome guy. Anyways, let's check in with the chat and see who we got with us. So we got Las Cruces. He says, woohoo, what's going on, Las Cruces? Hope you're doing all right out there in New Mexico. He says, hello from New Mexico, everybody. We got 23 Monch. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. We got Tony, Comiverse. Greetings from the far reaches of the Comiverse. What's going on, Tony? I was hanging out on his live stream with him Saturday evening, right before the CBC Awards, and we had a good time. It was fun. He was talking about Doctor Who and the 60th anniversary, so that was pretty cool. And also talking about the CBC Awards, which was a lot of fun. We got Durs. What's going on, man? Collecting with Durs. Says, lurking, my dude, but I'm here for my beautiful legends. And also smash that like. So yeah, if you would hit that like button on your way in, I would be eternally grateful. What's up, Digger Jim? He says, hello, everyone. And also love the Iron Man shirt. This is actually a Five Below special. I paid $5 for it. So usually they don't have shirts that fit me because I wear a 2X. But this one time I actually found a shirt there that fit. So Five Below special. What's going on, Justin? What's up, dude? Glad you could make it, man. Three good nerds. Justin is an awesome dude. Glad you could make it hang out with us tonight. He says, hi, Vaughn. Happy Monday. Yes, sir. Happy Monday. We got Roscoe, award-winning Roscoe. Congratulations, Roscoe. He won for, I think, Best Duo with Between the Lines, rightfully so. Super, super proud to be a part of the Monday night lineup with those guys. But they won for Best Duo, and then they both won separately on their own. Roscoe won for Best Community Artist. So congratulations, Roscoe. That's very well deserved. You're an amazing artist. And let's see, saying hellos. But yeah, we had the yeah, dude, you definitely deserved it, Roscoe. Congratulations, man. But the CBC Awards, I think that's the big talk from this past week. And it was a great time. We had a bunch of people in the community did some clips, sent in some clips. And Dr. Von Hoot did one with his daughter. It was hilarious. Like, I was dying laughing. If you have not seen that, you need to go check that out. He did this skit with his daughter, and it was hilarious. TM Nerdy and Roscoe, they did this or that, and it was very funny. They actually included me. I was honored to be included in their skit. So thought that was really cool. Travis was asked if he would arm wrestle me or Durs, and he picked Durs. So pretty good stuff. It was funny. We got C Bizzle. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. But Brian and Marcus, I wanted to shout them out because Brian LCS and Circumstances both did an amazing job. Brian put in a lot of work to make sure that the CBC Awards went well for its third year, and brought in Circumstances to help co-host this year. And Circumstances did his thing, kept everybody in line. It was a great show, but definitely wanted to shout them out. What's up, Ryan? What's going on, Colossus Collector? Hope you're doing well. Where'd you get that popped in just now? What's going on? Hope all is well with you guys. But yeah, I think that was the big news from this past week, CBC Awards. Congratulations to everybody that won. Unfortunately, I did not win. Robbie pretty much swept every category that he was nominated in. But rightfully so, though, right? Because Pop Culture Philosophers he's been doing his thing on there for forever. Like, when I first came in and was first getting into comic book content, he was one of the channels that I first got into. So, I mean, rightfully so. He deserved to win. And even besides that, there were so many other great channels, and especially like in that category that I was in, Only Slabs, DJ Links, Cat Fan Comics Man, just a bunch of really good channels that I was just proud to be in there with, just mentioned with, and that's the thing. Like we were actually in the mix. We were a part of it this year, where last year I wasn't at all, other than just committee and just helping out. So just proud to be a part of it. Son of a Bruce, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Forgot anything else? I wanted to make sure. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I have on here to congratulate Roscoe and Travis, but yeah, we just did that. Congratulations, guys. Seriously, y'all killed it. Winning that CBC award as best duo, and then each winning one separately for best artist, and then Travis, I think, for community builder. So that's awesome. Jimmy G, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. Let me get a sip of my drink and we'll bring out the guest, because we got an awesome guest tonight, y'all. Our guest this evening is a comic book collector, as well as an awesome content creator in this community. His Big Five live stream is always a lot of fun. He does a lot of different stuff on his channel, from mail calls to unboxings. Definitely worthy of a sub. Here to talk about all of this, as well as show us some cool stuff he's never shown before. Y'all help me welcome Brandon, M.O.N Comics, to the live stream. What's up, dude?
Thank you, Scotty. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and congrats on becoming a finalist for the CBCAs. You absolutely deserve to be in the same wheelhouse as all those people who were there. So great job. Like you said, you're proud to be amongst, to be amongst those names. And I just want to say congratulations to anyone in the chat who won, Roscoe, TM, anyone who's in the chat. Brian did a great job. Congrats on a great year. You guys deserve every second of it, and I'm proud to call you friends. The hardest part about YouTube for me at all isn't making videos or editing or worrying about the stat. It's trying to keep up with everyone's content, because everyone's so supportive, and I'll watch like everyone's channels. I may not comment every time, but I'll at least give them a view. So just know in the chat, everyone, I'm watching your videos. Where'd you get that? Digger Jim, Comiverse, Roscoe, everyone, I'm watching your stuff. I may not comment every time, but that's the hardest part to me. But thanks for having me, Scotty. I'm honored to be on your show finally, dude.
Man, I'm so glad to finally have you. You got a killer collection, and I couldn't wait to talk to you about it a little bit. I've hung out with you on a live stream before, but never on Comic Book Addicts. But we've hung out like a few times here and there, just randomly. We battled. You beat me with the foils on the Collector Club. And
can't believe you remember that.
Yeah, absolutely destroyed me. But we had fun though, and but yeah, I couldn't wait to have you. But for anybody that's watching right now that may not be familiar with you, explain a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you currently reside, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so I grew up in a little town called Hamilton, New York, in upstate New York. It's about 45 minutes southeast of Syracuse. There's only a population of about 3,000 people. And then there's a college in my hometown, and they have about 3,000 students when it's in session. So it's, most of the year it's about 6,000 people in the town, but the summertime it's really quiet. I'm a custodian at that college. That's my full-time job. I work 5 a.m. to 1:30. I got 2 little girls. One is going to be 4 the day after Christmas this year, which is just nutty at Christmas time. And then my other one is 15 months old. So I'm right in the thick of it. And, I was collecting Magic the Gathering cards. I used to be huge into playing. I had quite a collection of those. And I collected comics back in the day, and then transitioned into Magic. Sold comics, got heavy into Magic, had a pretty substantial collection. I would say like $5,000 or $6,000 worth of, cards. And then the company just started, going in a route that I didn't like. They were getting greedy with their packs and costs, and they were reprinting cards. It was causing the value of my cards to drop. And I was like, I'm getting back into comics. So liquidated my whole collection. And I was like, all right, I love Man-Thing, so I'll focus on that. I'll be a key collector. I'll go after, I'll do some runs, but being a key collector is fun because it allows you to bounce between titles. You don't have to feel like you have to constantly get the next. Like if you're going for the Avengers run, it's like, oh, it's daunting, But being a key collector is like, oh, I can go get the first appearance of the Mandarin. I can go get the first appearance of Galactic. You know, like it allows you to bounce between titles. So I started
Yeah.
collecting heavy like 2 years ago, and then about like last August, I started watching YouTubers. Watched Mike from Lunch Money Comics, and he was the one that kind of like inspired me because he was someone like other YouTubers who have flea markets and LCSs and everything else kind of at their disposal, whereas I'm in the middle of nowhere. That's what M.O.N stands for. So, I mean, I'm in the literally in the woods right now. I live on a little pond, and I'm surrounded by woods outside of my town. There's no
So what
lights, dark,
exactly,
you know,
what does the MON stand for?
middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Okay.
So I
Just
said to myself, if there's people that are able to, you know, have access to comics, what about people like me? There's got to be people that have to order online. So I was like, I want to make a channel to highlight good sellers and, you know, give people that are looking to, you know, either start collecting or to continue their collection, like some good outlets online if they have to shop by me. Like I'll be the
yeah.
guinea pig. I'll test out these different Instagram and whatnot and Facebook sellers, and then I'll give them a good review on my channel. I have had some bad sellers. I just don't talk about them because I don't want to, you know, bring negativity in. I'm not that, you know, channel. I just talk about the good experiences. So
Okay.
my goal is to try to help other collectors, you know, get, you know, comics through the mail if they have to, and then it grew into more of a community thing, like meeting you guys and all the other people that we know, and it's just unreal.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a lot of fun for me too. Like I probably got into the hobby. I guess it's been 3 or 4 years now, but it's been an absolute blast. So you
Yeah,
actually got in through Magic cards, which I've never heard before. That's kind of interesting. And then you went
yeah.
straight for the Man Thing keys. What is it about Man Thing what is it about that character that drew you in?
So I like Swamp Thing too. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Swamp Thing fan, but Man Thing was just his whole, you know, the story is kind of that trope. I mean, he was trying to recreate Captain America's super soldier serum. His wife double crossed him. She was going to try to steal these guys, and he had to inject it in himself. And he was in the swamp, and the matter and some magic formed, and he became Man Thing. So, but like his powers were just seemed better than Swamp Thing. And he can do the same thing as Swamp Things, like regenerate, lose limbs. People can shoot stuff through him, you know. But he can also, like, if you fear him and he touches you, you
Yeah,
burn. You know,
yeah,
like we've seen in comics in the show that they put out
yep.
with him. And then also, he is the Nexus, the guardian of Nexus of realities. So within that mysticism that created him in the swamp, he can teleport to any dimension. So I mean, that's
Sweet.
really freaking cool and
Yeah,
powerful,
yeah,
and
that
that's how
is.
I think I put it out there on every stream I'm on. I'm doubling down. We're gonna see him in the MCU soon. I can guarantee it, because not only was the Werewolf by Night show so well received on Disney, you know, but it's so easy
It
for
was
them to
great.
be like, you know, now the multiverse is really out there. You know, Doctor Strange could say, "Listen, we got to jump to another dimension, but I got a buddy in Florida that I know that can get us there." You know, and then go see Man Thing in the Everglades, and he can be brought right into the story. You know.
Yeah.
I always identify with the big hulking. I'm 6'4", like 280, so like I always identify with the
Wow.
big hulking heroes. You know, Hulk,
You're a
Man
big
Thing.
dude. That's
Yeah,
big.
I'm always sitting. So yeah,
Geez, I didn't realize you were such a big guy. My younger brother is 6'4", and he's a big guy.
I got to lose some weight though. I got to get that down. You know, and the holidays, like, great. That's what we do. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mon, what did I think of Disney? Where I just saw Spine Ticks pop up.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of sickly infatuated with it. Um, I I
It was
loved it.
good.
I thought it was it went away from everything that, hi Eric, it went away from every kind of super, you know, there's so much going on with, you know, controversy within comics and the movies and the translation from the source material to the movies.
Yeah.
And this was just such a nice escape away from heroes. It was anti-heroes, you know, like they're not bad, like Werewolf by Night and Man Thing are not really like villains, you know. They're not.
Mhm.
But it was just such a good, you know, and I thought doing it in black and white was really smart. And then they played Somewhere Over the Rainbow and put the color in at the end. I thought the girl who played Elsa Bloodstone was amazing. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
force that character, you know. Elsa's Elsa. You know, you know, she was in there, and Ulysses Bloodstone was in there. So I
It was
loved
so
that
good.
show. I
I
thought it
loved it.
was so, and everyone's like, this Halloween they just put out in color. And I was like, well, that's all they could do with the writing strikes. I'm sure they would have had some kind of follow up to it, because it was so, I didn't see one person talk bad about that show through any social media. So yes, I did like it, Spine Expressing. I thought it was wonderful.
I enjoyed it too. I still have not seen the color version. I haven't went back and watched it yet, but I loved the black and white. I thought it was
It was
great.
cool because all those gory moments you get to see now,
Yeah.
like the blood splattering on the camera and stuff.
Oh, so you're saying definitely go watch the color version?
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it. Me and my wife made a night out of it. You know, she supports watching the Marvel movies, but the minute I go deep in the comic, she's like, nah, "I'm going to stop you right there."
So do you prefer Man Thing over Swamp Thing?
A little bit. I have a lot of love for both the characters. In the '80s, when I grew up in the '80s, I was watching the Swamp Thing movie. Did you ever see any of those first the two Swamp Thing movies from the '80s?
I never
Incredibly
did.
cheesy, but it was another early comic book movie, you know, that came out that you know, you get to see that. So
Fear 11, first appearance of Nexus of Realities.
I might have that sitting next to me.
Very cool. Very cool. Good evening. What's going on, TJ? Glad you could make it.
TJ's great. He's all over the place, man. So many great supporters within the community too, Scotty. Les Cruces and TJ and all these people you see everywhere.
I know, absolutely. So many good people. We got Trev, Spine Ticks Pressing. What's going on? I thought the portrayal of Man Thing's personality was awesome. He was very likable. He was very likable. Yeah,
I guess that's why I like Man Thing. I'm a big dude, but I'm like I try to be likable. I try to get along with it. You know, like you could tell Man Thing's just that character that is probably fine, but you piss him off and it's, you know, gonna be trouble.
and you can tell, like, when you see hand tattoos on somebody, you're like, yeah, you probably don't want to mess with them. 6'4" and hand tattoos. I'm not gonna mess with them.
I'm a big teddy bear, but yeah, I got, you know, like you, Scotty. It's a good addiction, you know.
Yep, absolutely. Just a little bit expensive.
Yeah, and yeah, now I don't get him often anymore.
So did you were you into comics any as a kid, or was it something you more or less picked up later on?
Oh no, I was definitely into him as a kid, and actually, one of the first ones I saw, I got right here on the comic rack in the '90s was this Spectacular Spider-Man 200.
I was just showing that in a video the other day, in a foil video.
As a kid, dude, when I saw this, I mean, Green Goblin's my favorite Spider-Man villain. So I saw this and I was like,
yes,
what? You know, so a lot of this, but also the Marvel cards. The Marvel trading cards got me. You know, I still have, like, I keep them handy. If I send AOKs, I usually send these out to people.
I still have a whole binder full of them, man. I love comic cards. That was my thing.
They're wonderful. Dude. And Series 2 is
them.
great because, I mean, this one, Series 1 tells the first appearance, which is cool. But Series 2 had, like, the stats, like the agility and, like, strength and, you know.
It did.
So it really engaged you in that comic conversation with your friends, you know, like who was more powerful. And then you'd go out and read books and they'd go, look at what this guy did in this one, you know.
Yeah, and, like, the comic cards were my introduction to a lot of the characters because I'd get the card and, like, I would read the stats and be like, holy shit. And then I would go try to find them in a comic book. But me and my friends loved trading them. It was so much fun. I love the comic cards. So that's cool.
That's what we did too.
What's your favorite? What was your favorite series?
Oh, that's tough, dude. I mean, 1 started it all for me, so it has a special place. But Series 2 with the stats, were really awesome. Cool. Yeah, we traded and we beat the hell out of them. The only reason these were so good is me and my wife. The year before COVID hit, I found a box at a local card shop for $20 unopened.
What?
$20.
Wow.
They wanted nothing to do with them. So I brought it. I was keeping it sealed, and then me and my wife got drunk one night. And we're like, let's open the box. Let's rip them and find the holograms. So we did.
Yeah.
And we top loaded everything, which was great, you know, like to keep them perfect. And then COVID hits, and the boxes were selling for $600 on eBay because people were diving back into nostalgia in that bubble. And I was like, shit. But I kept them graded, or I kept them good. I sent 10 in for grading. Ant-Man. I sent them in for grading, and I got, like, the lowest I got was a 7.5. I got a few 9s, but I did get 110 on a Wolverine card, and I gifted that Bigby McFly for his efforts in the comic book shout out movement. So he has one of only 3 CGC graded Wolverine 10s.
Whoa, that's sick.
So these cards were perfect candidates to send in for grading. So I send them out with AOKs to people, and I say, hey, if you're going to grade a card, these are the ones you want to, you know. They went right from pack to top loader a year ago. So, but yeah, they're fun, right?
They definitely are fun. What's like an early childhood memory that you could think of?
With the cards or the comics?
Yeah, man, just anything. Like I used to trade those. Me and my friends, we used to bet them on the basketball court. We would bet our favorite like Marvel cards on trick shots. Whoever would nail the trick shot that you called would take the pile of cards. So we used to do that. Did you do anything like that with your friends?
No, but I lived in the main block of my town. So like it was residential on my side of the block, but on the other side was our little shops and stuff, and there were shops on the side. So I remember me and my best friend who lived the house next to me, we'd get out of after school, we'd take all our money, and we go down there and we get packs trying to rip to get the holograms. And then
Oh
right
yeah.
where the cards were behind us were the comics on the wall. It was like a little tobacco newsstand shop.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
we'd get some cards, and then like whoever we ripped out of the cards, we'd turn around and try to find comics with those characters in them. So we could get it all right there. Plus, they had penny candy. We're on our way to Diabetes City eating all this candy, and our parents were just like, it was the '80s. Anything went.
Yeah.
So that's
Get
probably my
away from them.
earliest. My earliest child is getting those, coming home, putting them in binders, and looking at them for hours. And then getting into comics because of them, basically.
That's awesome, man. It's cool to hear somebody else have a similar story to myself as far as that goes.
And there's
Are you
many of us,
more?
dude. There's a lot of us that have that. Mike
I'm
from Lunch Money
surprised.
Comics. Mike
Yeah,
from Lunch Money Comics. I got him into it. I've talked to so many people on so many streams, and I can't remember the top of my head, but they're like, "Yep, that's what did it for me too." It's just was their gateway drug, if you will.
I wish they did more. I wish they did more comic cards because you can still find like the occasional random but usually it's related to the MCU. I wish they did like Marvel Universe series cards and stuff like that again.
Wouldn't that be sweet if they brought that back? Just art. Just get Alex Ross and
Yeah,
Frizen and all these people that are drawing today. Like, get them doing some
yeah,
cards for us.
Bartel and
Yeah.
just a couple of hot artists.
Delato.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, can you imagine
yeah,
him drawing Marvel
Delato.
cards? Come
Oh
on.
hell yeah.
Give me those. Yeah, you're right. A lot of them are associated with the MCU and people trying to get autographs out of them and stuff, which is
They
cool,
got
but it's not the same.
Capullo. Capullo's
Yep.
back doing work at Marvel now. Get
He's
him
an
to do
upstate
some
New York
cards.
boy. His hometown, he's from Schenectady, New York. He's only like, his hometown's like 2.5 hours away from me.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was supposed to see him at Comic-Con in 2014, but I couldn't get, the line was stupid, so.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Us comic book collectors, we all collect in different ways. Where like sometimes I'll try to put together runs. Some people collect exclusively slabs and things like that. How do you collect as far as comic books go?
If it's for slabs, I have to have like a few criteria. If I love the cover enough that I think it's transcended a comic book and become more a piece of art,
Yeah.
I'd like to have it slabbed because I can read the story online, right?
Yep.
And one might be a legacy book. So say I pick up a raw book that's pretty pricey, but I want to grade it because I know the value when I'm gone, maybe in hopefully 30, 40 years from now, my daughters can benefit from it, And
Yeah.
then I also might, so like preservation too. If I've got a low grade book of like a key, like I might grade it for preservation just because I don't want it to fall apart, over time because it's already in rough enough shape. Even if it's going to be like a 2.0 or 2.5, like, so be it. It'll at least be that because it might be expensive.
Yeah.
And then like if I see them cheap, if the markets come down so much, like I got a sub. It was like Fantastic 421 for sub $100 shipped on eBay, graded. I mean,
Right.
like, so, but I do like raw too. Like I'll collect raw, to read runs, my Man Thing, the first solo series of Man Thing. I have every first appearance of Man Thing,
So you're out here picking up keys. You're like trying to pick up all the keys for the characters you like. That's
yeah,
how you
exactly,
collect.
dude. It's
Okay.
kind of like collecting Marvel cards,
I love it.
I love
love
the
it. That's
history
awesome.
of these, the history of these comics of the, where the Marvel universe has become out of this, but like to be able to say I have the first appearance of the Fantastic Four, a character
Dude.
or not Fantastic Four,
Dude.
sorry, someday Black Panther, to say I have his first appearance, and Chadwick
That's
Boseman
a
was just
sick book. That's an amazing
unreal.
book.
Like to have that book is a point in comic history too, right? Like a predominantly, featured black superhero is a big point in American history at that point in the 60s,
Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
interesting to me, the cultural significance of these books. You're going back to pre-code horror. Look at the history of where comics have been, from the golden age, and then going to pre-code horror and Seduction of the Innocent being written, and then the Comic Code Authority coming out, and like now there's stuff on comics that would make those go pre-code horror look like child's play. It's so interesting to me. So yeah, I'm just kind of bouncing around collecting what I like. If there's a good story someone says to read, I'll buy that book too. If it's a great cover or key character, I'll buy it. It's tough, right, to stay focused.
Yeah. And do you submit them yourself, or do you buy them already graded?
So I do. I submit them. I will send the ones I'm going to get graded to my presser. His name's Jeff. He owns Comic Spa out of Massachusetts. He
Oh,
worked in
cool.
the paper industry for 15 years, and he's been pressing since 2011. So he's got pretty much a chemistry background, and
Wow.
he is a wizard. So I'll send them to him. He'll send them back to me, and then I submit them. So yeah, that's expensive too. So like that's what I figured out too. When I first got back in the hobby, I was all willy-nilly and said 6 books. And 4 of them probably had no business really being graded, except that I love them. So in the end, it doesn't matter. But with the cost, like you have to start balancing that out and being like, okay, like is this book long term going to be worth it for me to put in a slab? Does you know what I'm saying? Like it's not cheap. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, what are some of your favorite series? You say I know you collect different keys and stuff. Do you have a favorite series, or like a particular artist that you go after, or is it more just character based?
We'll go over this a little more, but right now I'm going after the Fantastic Four.
Okay, cool.
Kirby and Lee run, which is
Very
1 to
cool.
102 issues. And because of the significance, Jack Kirby's my favorite Silver Age artist, maybe favorite artist overall. But what him and Stan Lee did with the Fantastic Four to revive Marvel, and the amount of huge first appearances that came out of that. I mean, Silver Age Submariner, Doc Doom, first Doctor Strange crossover, Silver Surfer, Galactus, Watcher. I mean, so I do go after that run, and this is 42 issues of it.
Wow.
Raw.
Are you kidding me?
I've got
That's
9
amazing.
slabs. So, I do go after. I thought this would be a lifetime run to go after, because you can't do it quick, I can't go out and buy a Fantastic Four number 1, number 5, and I'm probably going to have to get them purple labels. So I do want to go after. I'm working on that run just as like a long-term fun thing, because there's also books towards the end of the run that are like $20, $15, So it's like I could pick it up, read the story, see how their art progressed, and it goes into my run. And then, when I got back in, I said I wanted to have the first appearances of Man Thing, and then the first solo run. So I went after that too. So really the only run I'm still working on is until next year. I'll leave that until next year. Fantastic Four is my only like long-term run I'm working on. So I've got 52 of the issues. So I lack 50.
Lack 50.
Yeah. But
dude, that's pretty amazing though, man.
That's not bad. Yeah. And I did this all this past year. And
dude, yeah,
that was like getting 48, 49, and 50 in this year, like that was a big trilogy to complete. So
what were some of the bigger ones out of those that you managed to pick up?
Definitely 48, the first appearance of Silver Surfer. It's only a 0.5, but it's there. 49, which is my favorite Silver Age cover with Galactus, looking over, looming over, first full Galactus. But also number 13, I have the first appearance of the Watcher. It's
That's
raw,
awesome.
but it's pretty. I'll show that in a bit. It's pretty awesome. First Inhumans, first Ronin. There's just so many keys. So, yeah, I would say those 3: the 48, 49, and 50, and then, well, number 8. I got a sub 10 book. I got a number 8 in a 2.0. Because prices were just coming down. So, yeah, there was some big ones this year. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful, and I've had to flip a lot of. Like I said, most of it was my Magic collection. And then I might sell some stuff on eBay that I used to collect that I don't want anymore, And
well, dude, I mean, you're killing it. Look at the books on the wall behind you.
I'm trying. I'm
Badass
very
stuff.
grateful. I've stopped buying for this year. I've got enough books in the kitty and content lined up to get me to the new year. So I was like, it's the holidays, my family and kids come first, like
Absolutely.
and you can make content without having to buy and show comics, you just got to get creative.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, you got some pretty fire stuff behind you. Speaking of your content, what do you got? Tell us a little bit about your channel first off. I guess we should start there. What type of stuff do you do over on M.O.N Comics?
So like I said, mostly my channel is focused on, M.O.N Mail, Mighty Five, which that name was get to me by Bigby. I show off 5 books a week of that I might have gotten the past couple of months, where I got them from, make sure I highlight the seller very well and tell people where they can find them. And it's great because sellers are reaching. I've reached out and said, hey, I met this person through, I met this. It's like, yes, this was my mission accomplished. Like, people are having good buy-in experiences through sellers online that I'm suggesting. Like, that's what I set out to do. So I'll go over those books, tell them the significance, why I got them, the importance of them in my collection, like maybe it's a childhood memory or something like that. So that's why M.O.N Mail, Mighty Five. And then I wanted to do something. I saw all you guys doing community stuff. And I was like, what can I do? You're doing great community stuff. TM and Roscoe, CJ does his Insomniac Theater, which I sometimes catch when I'm going up to go to work in the morning.
That's when I watch it, when I'm waking up and getting ready for work.
And I'm like, good morning, you maniacs, and but he pushes it, man. He puts out content. And so I wanted to do something community based, and I thought the Big 5 Live would be an easy way to bring on 4 other collectors that I've met through different areas of the collecting community to show off 5 books, whether they're new or they're their favorite 5 books, just in the name of stoking that comment conversation, right? Because everyone has different tastes, and some line up to be similar. Oh, you collect Spider-Man, I collect Spider-Man, or I didn't know you like Tomb of Dracula, I've never seen that book, so that's what that show's all about. I just want to do something with the community, because let's face it, everyone I talk to agrees that the content creating is fun, but this is the real fruit of the fruits of the effort, of this meeting and live streaming with people and getting to talk, because a lot of people do this because they don't have people around them to talk comics. I don't, so like being able on the phone is fine, texting and stuff, but be able to talk and show books, this is the real thing. So I'm going to continue that into the new year. I've got some other ideas lined up for other shows I'm going to try to get creative with, and just keep doing what it's set up to do, is show people some good sellers and grow my collection and have fun.
What made you want to start the channel up to begin with?
Just, like I'm midlife crisis, maybe, let's call it that. I've got 2 kids, my life is right now, it's very immersed with my kids and my wife. I work 5 to 1:30. So my wife is a photographer. So in the summertime, I get out of work and she goes right to work doing family shoots, weddings, you name it. And then, kids go down at night, and like, I can go to bed and do it all over again tomorrow, or I can take like an hour or 2 and, film myself and talking about comics and having like a hobby, and also to show my daughter someday that their dad put themselves out there. He, was passionate about something, and hopefully YouTube will exist when they get a little older to watch it, and
I hope so.
I like my kids to get into collecting. I've taken my oldest one to a show, a small show, and she's 3, so like her attention span is, but I did pick her up
such
some
a fun
sweet
age though.
Oh my God, it's great. It's amazing that she can recognize, I wear my Black Panther shirt out for coffee, and she's like, oh, Black Panther, dada, and she can name the characters on my shirt, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing something right, so
exactly.
That's what really made me want to start the channel. It's just, to get out there and meet more people and grow my collection and have fun with something I love.
That's pretty cool. I think that's a good reason. What are some goals that you have for your channel? You have any goals set for the channel?
I'll tell you what, I'm just so grateful that January 24th will be my 1-year anniversary on YouTube.
Yes.
So I'm still new,
awesome,
but I've at 1,060 subscribers in less than a year. So I feel like
you're killing it.
I'm grateful. I don't, I'm just grateful to have made friends and get where I'm at. Because when you start, you're like, what, 3 people might watch me, like who's going to tune in to watch my goofy ass talk about comics, But But then you can
Right.
start getting comments and interacting with people that are watching the channel, and then that
Yeah.
gets amazing, you know. And then
Yep.
I'm sending them AOKs, they're sending me AOKs, and so yeah, that's really the goal.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's what's up, Izzy? I knew I seen him in here. What's going on, man?
Hey, Izzy.
Well, let's see. Getting back to comics a little bit, what are some books that you're currently hunting for? You mentioned you're trying to fill in that run, the Fantastic Four. What's some other stuff you're looking for?
I'll give you a sneak peek. So one of my 2024 collecting goals will be to finish the first 10 issues of Daredevil. So I've
Wow.
got
That'll
right
be cool.
now.
That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I love it's such a historic with Wally Wood's art, and you know, showing how a character had one costume and transitioning to another, you know.
Yep.
So
That'll be
I've
fun.
got 3, 4, 7, 8, and 10. I've already got 5.
Oh, damn, already.
Right.
Holy shit, man. That's awesome.
So I want to finish that by getting 1, 2, 1, 2, 8, and 9 or something like that. I think I need, but like the only big one is 1. You know, like 2 is not that bad. You know, you can find a pretty 2.5 to 3.0 for like 200 or less. You know,
Okay.
so 1's the one I'll have to save for a bit. I'm also trying to get Terrificon is in Connecticut in August 16th through 18th. So I'm doing cans for comics. I call it. It's at my job. The kids recycle their cans. I work in a dorm, and we're allowed to take those cans and return them if we work in the building. So I'm going to see how many cans I can gather between now and August to pay for my trip down to Terrificon. So I'll have a can count every couple of videos to see, just to show people that like if you just push yourself and if you go out and I have a luxury because they're at my job, but if you're in a city or somewhere and you can go around and collect cans, like how long will it take before that money starts to add up? Can I fund a trip on that? So that's another one of my 2024 happenings, if you will.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm curious. You got me curious about that now.
Why not? It's free money, right?
I mean, will it add up to enough to be worthwhile?
Right. Yeah. Like, could it pay for the hotel room for 2 nights? Could it pay for gas? Like, what's it going to equate to?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Well, what are some like personal grails for you? You mentioned Daredevil 1, of course, and then the Fantastic Four stuff. What would be like another big grail you're trying to get?
So Fantastic Four excluded. I would love to have Strange Tales 89, which is first appearance of Fin Fang Foom.
Cool.
Big,
okay.
Outer space alien taking the form of a dragon. Have you seen Fin Fang Foom?
Yes, the big ass dragon, like the big green. Yeah.
So implications with the Mandarin and stuff with him. I'd love to have that. I would love to have thinking about like my want list because I started this for next year. So Strange Tales 89, The Crow #1. That was a big.
That's going to be hard to find though, right? You don't see that out there a lot.
You don't. I have a friend who was tracking a couple sales, and there was a first print CBCS signature verified signed by O'Barr 7.5. And I don't know how much longer it is, but it's like at 500 right now. So that didn't seem that bad because probably it's at CBCS. But loved The Crow. Was a huge, when that came out in the 90s, it was just so dark and gritty, and Brandon Lee and the tragedy of him passing away because of that movie and just the story. My wife loves it. Before we had kids, we would on Halloween, like that, we'd watch that, every year together. And
it was awesome. Yeah,
it was great. It was a tragedy, like one bullet happened to be alive like there. I forgot how it worked. It wasn't live. It was something. I forgot how weird it was that it killed him. But so that having
weird
that comic,
circumstances, just such weird.
It is weird, dude. It is weird. And so I would love. Caliber Presents #1 is like the actual first appearance of the Crow. I know that, but the money book and him on the cover is the Crow #1. So you can get a second printing too for relatively cheap. So, but I like a first printing. So the Crow #1 will be a good one. Daredevil, obviously #1. Is on my list for this year. Fantastic Four. I mean, there's just I don't know how or how long it's going to take me to get you know, first appearance of Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four
Taylor.
5. You know, prices have gone down. Prices have gone down. I've seen that Fantastic Four and a 1.5 and a 1.8 selling, you know, not, I won't call them cheap, still over $5,000, you know, like that's not in my budget anywhere soon, but you know, they weren't where they were 2 years ago, you know.
True. Yeah, a lot. Everything's came back down since then. Since
Yeah,
COVID
Strange
and all
Tales
that
89, that even in a crap grade, that's expensive too, you know.
Hey, E-Man was
So
wanting to know what are some non-comic grails that you're chasing.
oh, the newest Predator versus Wolverine series. I will buy any of those and read those because those are cool. I'm a huge Predator fan, so
It
if
looks
I'm
pretty
around
damn cool.
if I'm around a comic shop, it was pretty cool. And actually, tell you what, the book Unnatural Order that we was the C3 exclusive book with a
Yeah,
variant cover.
yeah.
The story in that's awesome, and the art's in that is awesome. So
I
I
never
can't
did
wait.
read
I
it.
think the next issue drops this month, I think, and it had a sweet twist at the end of it that I love in comics. I was like, all right, this is great. I supported a good cause. I got a sweet comic book, you know. So that's a book I'm going after. I want to go after Philadelphia. I heard that's a good read. Everyone, you know, I don't do a lot of modern, so something is killing the children. People have described these things to me, and they sound amazing, and
Yeah,
I want to read them. But it's like, you know, it's
you're going
tough
after.
after you go up the Fantastic Four run, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it, dude. I think what you're doing is really cool. You said you brought some pretty unique stuff to show us, right?
I
You got
did.
some stuff you haven't shown, or you haven't shown at all, right?
No, okay. So let me start with that first, actually. So um,
You got some
I have
pretty
some
cool stuff.
autographs, comic related, if you will, um, that I've never shown on my channel
Dude,
or
I'd love to
on
see it.
YouTube.
I'd love to check it out.
So Hellboy, I'm a huge fan of Hellboy.
Awesome.
When I was
Awesome.
in college years ago, I took this class called Comic Books as Literature, which is the best class ever. And the
That sounds
professor,
like the best class ever.
dude, reading list, Killing Joke,
What?
Concrete, V for Vendetta, Hellboy. So like I'm
I
just
would ace
godless.
that. I would
Oh,
ace it.
I did. I got like an A, of course. Like if you don't, you're bad. So, but I read Hellboy and I started to learn about his personality and how he fought mythical monsters across the world. And I loved it. So
Mhm.
I got reading the graphic novels and the movie came out and I loved Ron Perlman. I thought he was a perfect Hellboy. He was awesome in Sons of Anarchy. The guy is
He's a
just a
good
prolific
actor.
actor.
He
So
really is.
they filmed a movie in my hometown like 8, 9 years ago, and
What?
Ron Perlman's playing the sheriff. And I'm working downtown. I was running a brewery at the time, and
Yeah.
they were shooting a couple doors down. So I got to know the workers of the movie, like the productions assistants and stuff. And one came in, her name was Laura, and she's like, you know, hey, how's this experience been for you? I'm like, pretty good, but I'm kind of bummed that I get to meet Ron Perlman. And she's like, I'll see what I can do. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, so I'm
Yeah.
bartending, and it's like 11 minutes to midnight, and we close at midnight. And there's only like 6 or 7 people in the bar, and all of a sudden, he comes in the front door dressed as a cop, and he's like, "I'm looking. My nickname's Fred. My last name's Frederick." He's like, "I'm looking for Fred. Everyone up against the bar. This is a raid." And these people are like, "What is going on?" And I'm like, "Oh my god." So he comes into the bar. He's like, hey Fred, I'm Ron. I'm like, "Hey, really nice to meet you. Like, I love your work. You know, you are Hellboy to me." And I knew he was in town,
Sick.
so I was like, "Would you mind signing some stuff for me?" He's like, "Not at all." So I went back to my office and I grabbed my Hellboy DVD,
Yes.
and he
That's
signed
cool, dude.
that and drew like some kind of like weird Hellboy inscription. And I had like 3 DVDs. He's like, "Wow, you came prepared, huh?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's not often we get movie stars I like in my town, you know." So he signed that.
What a cool story to go with it, though. Like, what an
Oh,
amazing
I know. And
story.
actually, he's actually short. I towered over him. I was like, "Hey, pretty small for always playing a tough guy." Super nice guy. And he's like, "Listen, I got to go finish this scene. I'll be back in a bit." I'm like, "Okay, you know." So he's like, "I'll sign more." So he left. The bar clears out because it's closing time. Comes back. And he's like, "What else do you want me to sign?" So he signed Pacific Rim DVD for me
Ah, cool.
when he
Dude, that
played
was really cool. He
Hannibal
came
Chow,
back.
and he signed at Hannibal Chow. Super, super nice. Super nice. So I gave him a big growler of beer. I was like, "Here you go, dude. Like, thank you." And the last thing he signed was because he played the voice of Deathstroke in Flashpoint Paradox from DC.
Yeah.
So that was my experience with him. And then when I went down to
That is
Comic-Con,
cool.
well, I'd already had this signed in 2014. Kevin Conroy signed this for me.
That's so cool, dude.
So I've got two of the voice actors. Kevin
Yeah.
Conroy was a sweetheart. He was just a wonderful person. He's like, "You want a picture? Do you and your wife want a picture?" Like, totally like accommodating. And people have got to move the line, Mr. Conroy. He's like, they want a picture, you know? So he was
Were
really
they
cool.
was what Mike was wanting to know, was he filming the movie Desperation?
No, the movie was called Pottersville. It was kind of like
Pottersville.
It's a Wonderful Life ripoff. And they picked our town because they needed a town that didn't look like much was going on in it. I'm like literally in the middle of nowhere. So that was the movie, Pottersville. And then, so Kevin Conroy, just a wonderful, wonderful guy. To Brandon, everything always gets personalized. I never sell these things, like.
I wouldn't. I'd hold on to it. That's awesome.
So those are 3 on my DVDs. I'm a big fan of.
Those were cool.
The Goonies.
You
grew up in the 80s.
I'm an 80s baby, so I love anything 80s. I'm a sucker for anything 80s.
I was so in love with this movie. I met some friends online through chat boards. And for the 25th anniversary, I met up with them in Astoria. We rented a bed and breakfast on Cannon Beach, where that big rock is, the Haystack Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have fires on the beach and hang out at night. And we got to meet a lot of the actors. And but one cool thing is Data wasn't there. Ki-Hai Kwan wasn't there at the time.
Uh-huh.
But one of my friends was such a nut about the movie. He worked for DreamWorks, and he had heard that one of Data's coats was somewhere in the Warner Brothers lot. So he made up a fake production company name and said he was shooting a movie and needed to go through these lots to get costumes.
Okay.
And he searched 6 lots until he found it. So he found one of 2 coats that had all the patches matched up, said Data inside on the collar. So they took a picture of me wearing it. This picture, everyone in the chat, please. It was like, this is like 15 years ago. It was cheesy. Like, I was just cheesing out because I was wearing this coat. But my friend who later met Ki-Hai Kwan had him sign the picture.
That is awesome.
So little did I know when I got the signature that he was going to be an Oscar-winning actor someday that I'd have his signature on. So he was great.
You look so young. You look so youthful.
Young M.O.N. Yeah, dude. This was 2009, 10 maybe.
Man, that's awesome.
So he was great in season 2 of Loki, and Oscar winner. Yeah, so to have me wearing one of his coats screen used with him having signed it was this is pretty special to me, like
definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing us that. That is really cool.
Of course. This is the most important one. Small town. I'm working in a restaurant, and Colgate University is the place I work at, and new students or prospective students come visit in the summer, and so I come into my night shift. I'm working like 4:30 in the afternoon until 2 in the morning.
Okay.
And one of the waitresses like, yeah, one of the Ghostbusters was in here. People said you'd probably be interested. I was like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, one of the ghosts. I can't remember which one. Maybe Egon. I was like, Egon Spengler was in this restaurant. I go, okay. I was a manager at the time. I gathered everyone up. I'm like, new rule. If any Ghostbuster comes in here, you were to call me immediately. Okay?
Yes.
Threw it out there. A month or so goes by. All of a sudden, my friend Joe calls me. He's like, Brandon, he's here. I'm scrambling. I'm like looking for stuff. I find the only thing I could find was a Ghostbusters 2 DVD. I would have liked to have the first one signed, but I was like, whatever. Like, so I go down. Cool. And there's Harold Ramis with his wife and kid, and I walk up and I'm like, Mr. Ramis, huge fan. I'm sorry to interrupt you. And his wife's like, sit down. He loves this stuff. So I sit down, and Harold Ramis signs my Ghostbusters 2 DVD.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. It's because it's got the logo and everything on it, so that's cool.
Yeah, he was a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful man, and his son ended up going to school there. So he'd come there throughout the semester and eat in this restaurant. He'd always be like, hey, Brandon. I'm like, hi, Mr. Ramis. Like, totally surreal. Like, he'd be eating. I'd end a shift and go drive home, and he'd be walking through the park, and I'm like, Egon's walking through my park right now because his son goes here. Like, what are the chances? So he would
That
come
is
out and I
crazy.
talked to him about, like, I'm like, I love Ghostbusters, but I mean, like, let's do the list. National Lampoon's Animal House, Stripes, Caddyshack. I mean, you were responsible for some of the greatest, comedies to come out of the 80s. And he was just always something. He got a picture with us behind the bar. And so, I mean, I've had offers of upwards of $1,000 for people to buy this, even though it's personalized to me. Because
Don't
no,
do it.
I would never. This will be my forever. This will be my kids will pass on the story. But you
That's
think
so
about
cool.
all the items Stan Lee's signed. Like they put him in front of cons, and Ramis wasn't doing that. So not many of these are out there that are legit. So yeah, I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and when the new one came out, two of my best friends, one lived in Manhattan. When Afterlife came out, we drove down, spent the whole afternoon from noon until 10 visiting all the scenes and taking pictures. Like they go to the firehouse, 55 Park West, I think it is, like where Dana Barrett lived. And we were just walking around New York City all day, and then we went and had a great dinner, and then went and watched the movie. So Ghostbusters is huge, and this is one of my pride and joy. So small autograph collection, but like Stan, you can't get it anymore, and so.
Dude, that's a quality collection, man. That's uh-oh. What happened?
Sorry.
Okay,
I don't know what
there
happened.
we go.
Someone tried to call me.
Oh no, it's all good, man. That's a badass collection, dude. That's really cool.
Thank you.
And
It's
the stories
stories
attached.
That's what means a lot to me, is like, it reminds me of points in my life that were just incredible that I'm so grateful happened. I mean, what are the chances of Harold Ramis coming to your town because his kid's going to college there?
I know.
What are the
right?
chances of Ron Perlman coming to my town to shoot a movie here? Like, Kevin Conroy, who I found in New York Comic Con, that's, you can find autographs there, no problem. It is what it is. But we lost him early, he was a freaking legend, dude. And we lost him early. So I'm just grateful to have him.
Well, dude, I'm grateful that you came to hang out with us and show us that, man. That was really cool. And those were definitely some awesome stories. I would never get rid of any of that stuff. Definitely hold on to all of that stuff.
It'll be with my kids forever. I would never I was kind of just surprised when the guy offered me money for the Ramis. I'm like, it says my name. And he's like, how few of these there are? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about that. Like,
it's a good point.
But my kids will have that story. Hopefully it's hanging on their wall someday.
Yeah, man. It's really cool too, because like it's got the Ghostbuster logo and everything on the disc, so it displays really well. That's awesome.
Like I said, I would have liked to find Ghostbusters 1. Ghostbusters 2 is fine with me. Like at first sequel, it's fine, but 1 is my passion. So
yeah, pretty sweet, man. You got any books? Got any recent pickups or anything?
Okay, so I thought, I always show slabs, whether it's on other people's shows or I just did only slabs with Rob and Chris. So
that was awesome, by the way. That was really cool.
It was a lot of fun. That's a great show.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought I'd throw some Raws. So I do have Savage Tales #1, which is the first appearance of Man-Thing, and it's a magazine. I don't have it because it's been at CGC since October 17th. And I paid them to press it because I wanted it. I was trying to have it back for only slabs, but they are way outside of. They refunded me the fast track I paid for it, but they're still like 5 days outside their quoted time, so that stinks. So that's the first appearance of Man-Thing is in that book. Our first comic appearance is Tales to Astonish #12. He's not on the cover, but he is in here.
What?
So this is his first appearance in a comic. He's featured in there with Kazar. His first.
That's cool. I've never seen
comic,
that one.
You haven't? First cover appearance, Tales to Astonish 13. Now, truth be told, I don't like this art. The artist who did this was Rich Buckler, who's done some wonderful art on other series like Daredevil, but he looks chunky. He doesn't look,
Yeah, he kind of does. He
looks very derpy, and his hand, like, I don't know if they didn't pass the notes along, but his hand should be a creature's hand. It's like a human hand, but it's his first cover appearance, so I had to.
That's weird.
Right? It is. I don't get it.
It's still a really cool cover, though. No, I agree. Robbie, what's going on, man? Congratulations on your win.
Congratulations on all the wins, Robbie. Sweep.
Yes, absolutely swept it. Rightfully so, man. It was your year, dude. You've been killing it
sir.
since I first came in. I I look up to your channel. You do great reviews.
People in the chat like, he's the new Reggie. He's the new Reggie.
He does good stuff, man. It was well deserved. So congratulations. And honored to see you in here, man. Awesome. How cool is that?
Yeah, right.
But Kazar, you got more
Kazar, Astonishing Tales 12 and 13, right? And then his first solo story was in Adventures into Fear 10. So this used to be Fear, just called Fear, issues 1 through 9. And then in 10, they adopted the Adventures into Fear with Man-Thing. So this is a great Neil Adams cover.
There we go. That's
and
better.
So this is just, I love
Neil
holding
Adams.
the baby.
Holding the baby. That's awesome.
So that's his first solo story.
Story.
And then this is an important one. This is the next one. Great Neil Adams art too. Venture into Fear number 11. This is Spine Ticks Pressing, I think, said he was right. This is the first appearance of the Nexus of Realities. Wow, so I'm trying. Actually, this is the run I'm trying to get, Scotty. I'm trying to get the entire Fear run, which is only like 22 or 23 issues. The most expensive, I think, is 19 because it's the first appearance of Howard the Duck. So that's like,
that's a good one.
But I say most expensive.
That's the one I would love to have personally. I'm a big fan of Howard the Duck. That was one of the first. I think that was the first mature movie I saw as a kid that like showed boobies.
Dude, Leah Thompson.
Oh. yes.
Some cross species sexiness. It was cool. That was a good movie. Yeah, the creature at the end I loved. Yeah. I don't collect the Heap right now, but I'd like to get into the Heap. The Heap was the inspiration for Swamp Thing and Man Thing, really. So those are really, so like after Savage Tales, these are like the really important, like first comic appearance, first cover appearance, first solo part in the stories, because this is, there's different multiple stories, and then first Nexus of Realities. So like those are the really important ones in the Man Thing run. And then I have the first, this was the first series.
We got the yellow label,
Thing, which you put in the background. I always show this off. It's my favorite book. So Frank Bruner signed it. There's only like 9 other on the census for CGC signature at this grade, only like 4 higher. So Bruner signed it there, and then I sent it in, and Roy Thomas signed it because he co-created Man Thing with Stan Lee. Dude. So this was a 9.4 when it went in, and I got it pressed by them, and it came back a 9.6.
9.6. Very nice.
So but the silver isn't as, like, when you put it like this, you can't see it like you can see Frank Bruner's name. So you have to tilt it, but I know it's there. It doesn't matter. It's not leaving my collection. So those are my big pivotal Man Thing things I want to scratch off. Thank you. And then Eric from SideQuest Comics, actually, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, he AOK'd me something really amazing, a piece of original production art from Man Thing issue 5, page 6.
Are you kidding? Wow. Robbie said you keep showing all these Man Things, and the show will be banned on YouTube.
Dude, CJ always busts my chops. He's always like, you always got to pull out your Man Thing, huh? And I'm like, listen, I know it's a tough title to live with, but I'm dedicated. So Eric sent me this. This was really touching. Like, it's 2 overlay pages, I believe, the art and the comic bubbles, but just
that's amazing.
Really, yeah. This is going to the framers pretty soon.
Definitely needs to go in a nice frame for sure.
Yes. So those are my Man Thing keys. Now I'll bring out some random, like, to show what people like what I collect. So like Astonishing Tales 24, right? This is important to me because it's only the second cover appearance of Fin Fang Foom and third overall appearance. So I can get that big ass dragon on this cover for $15 as opposed to Strange Tales 89, which is thousands. So I was like, I want to have a picture of Fin Fang Foom on a cover. I can, it's so crazy how cheap the second cover appearance is,
But do you have a giant size Man Things?
I do, Robbie. Giant size Man Thing. That's another Frank Bruner cover because look at how alive he drew that character to look. I mean, and Ryan, the Colossus Collector, also gifted me giant size Man Thing #1. So, yeah.
That's an
That's
awesome book.
again cover by, it's a cool cover. So
Dude, you have such a
it's the
cool collection,
holidays.
man. You really do.
X-Men 143. Have you ever read this book, Scotty?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Which one is that?
This is 143. This is like all the X-Men go away and Kitty Pryde's the only one at the mansion, and it's a direct homage of Aliens. So you can see how this
Okay.
kind of looks like a xenomorph and
Yep.
chases her around, and at the end she kills it. Spoiler alert, she kills it the same way that Ripley kills. She blasts the creature with the engine thruster of her spaceship, of the X-Jet, I believe.
Awesome.
So
that's cool.
really, yeah, really any kind of like stuff like that like pop culture like will wander into a different medium and homage, I will go after too, like, because now it's an alien story as well as a comic story.
That's
and then another
here.
great key again, Tales of Suspense number 54, the second appearance of the Mandarin.
Second appearance of the Mandarin. That's a big book.
But dude, it was super cheap because second appearances sometimes aren't, like it's not like dirt cheap, but like compared to having to get his first appearance,
I love it. That's a good cover. That's a really good cover. He's using one of
Yeah.
the rings.
Yeah, you can't. Iron Man's blasted away. I was so mad. Me and Rohan from Game of Nerds talk about it all the time. Iron Man 3, like when they had announced Ben Kingsley as a Mandarin, I was so pumped. I was like, yes, he's perfect. Bust out those rings. And it was all like a facade. I was like,
It
oh,
was a
they ruined
joke.
it.
Yeah, it was
It was.
horrible.
You should see me in the theater. You should have seen a look of disappointment on my face. I was like throwing my popcorn. I'm like, that's not what it's supposed to be. The comic nerds in the theaters were all, up in arms. But I brought a couple DC books to show because I do collect some DC. I don't like to limit myself. There's great things across both of them, so why not? I think TM Nerdy's a big DC guy, right?
Oh yeah, real big
Yeah,
DC guy.
This will be a stretch for him. So Nightwing 93. So again, something culturally important. I like to collect if it's a modern book. Even I don't know if you've read this one, but he gets sexually assaulted by the tarantula in this.
I have not.
Yeah, so he was gonna kill. I forgot the villain he was going to kill. Someone will chime in the chat. But he doesn't kill the villain, and Tarantula, a female vigilante, shows up and kills the villain. And he starts going nuts, and he can't take it, and he's losing his mind. And then she physically rapes him on the roof. And it's a really, that's a horrible thing to happen to anyone, but it shows, it shows superheroes going through that. Because he's out of his mind at the moment. He can't say, he doesn't know what's going on. So really, really, when I read it's powerful. It's like shows that comics aren't necessarily for kids sometimes,
I'm gonna look for that one now. I never heard of that.
It's a great, you get this and read, it'll change you, Scotty. It'll change how you look at some comics, man. It was you feel bad for that to happen to anyone. I love this. This was a cover by. I respect the character, but Wonder Woman 199.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah, it's
who did that cover? I recognize that.
Jeffrey, I forgot their last name. I forgot. I'll email it to you or Instagram it to you, but I just loved the bondage cover. It's a painted cover, and I would love.
There's a lot of really cool. There's a lot of cool Wonder Woman bondage covers.
Yeah, right through this run, like 199 too. And there's a lot of risque covers. But if you don't want to dig into your wallet for pre-code horror, this is a great lower, cost, still bondage. You got an executioner with the axe. So I think I got this from Joe at 360 Comics. I think he was actually having a sale, and I grabbed this from him. So
that's a great.
Love that book. I love Justice League Dark. So even in DC, I'll go after first appearances. So this is the first appearance of Black Orchid.
Yes, it is.
It's a different Black Orchid than the cartoon or the newest iteration, but
but it's a cool. I love that version of Black Orchid. I almost picked that up a few months ago, but I didn't, and I kind of wish that I did.
I think this was like $20. I spent $20 on dumber stuff, and love the trade dress. Love the pinks and purples in there.
It's a cool cover. It really is. It's an awesome cover.
Yeah, it is. I also think the Spectre is awesome.
Yeah. Really cool character.
God's Wrath.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so anytime I see a Spectre, especially with
Oh yeah,
tentacled monsters. Yeah.
I like
And
that a
then
lot. Those are
one from
cool.
our childhood, you probably saw Batman '89,
Oh
man.
yeah, that's awesome.
When this movie, this is when people started taking comic book movies seriously.
Absolutely.
You know, Michael Keaton showed everyone.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's cool, man.
And then I guess I just wanted to run through if it's okay.
Absolutely.
So this is my Fantastic Four stack. So this is like the raw of what I've accumulated going after that run.
That's
So I do
awesome.
have 48 and 49, and then I have 50 needs to get graded.
Woo, man. I love that one.
Yeah, some people don't like
Beautiful
the
book.
brown. I don't mind it at all.
No, I like the
But
brown. I like the
yeah, I
turd
do
brown.
too. I've heard it called that before. So this actually, I was in we did a live auction. We were watching a whatnot auction on Colossus Collector's page, and I lost out on this, and it went higher than it should have. And like they were all telling me, the people who were watching, like, stop bidding. I'm like, yep, you're right. Like I'm not going to get caught up in FOMO for it. I was bummed. Start looking on eBay. Start bookmarking sales. I'm like, I need that book. Well, the next
Yeah.
day, Brian, Bigby McFly, and Dan from Dan's X-Men Comics on Instagram, they audio called me on Instagram. They're like, dude, we found you a copy. And I'm like, no, I don't want it. Like, I'll just wait for next year. And then they FaceTime me. And this is probably like I don't know, a 3035. But the guy was only asking $125. And they're like, he'll work with you on it. And I was like, would he take 100? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'll PayPal you. So like that felt like a win. And just it shows this community. Like those guys were out at a toy show or a comic show doing their own thing. They didn't have to think of me. They didn't have to take the time to call
Sure.
and but that's how this community is, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. Great
So
pickup.
that's a cool one. Here's what I was talking about earlier, number 13. So the first appearance of the Watcher. He's not on the cover.
First
But,
Watcher. Nice.
Yep. This is the issue before they adopt a corner box. So if you look at issue number 14, there'll be a corner box on it. So it still has
Wow.
that really golden age look to it.
See, I'm learning stuff. I did not know that. So after issue 13 is when they started
You'll
the
see
corner
corner
box.
boxes. Yep. So that's up in the 20s. But issue
That's
14 has
cool.
Submariner's butt sticking out. It's pretty famous for that. It's
Okay.
like just him like facing the Fantastic Four and his ass is in your face.
I like learning little details like that though. That's interesting.
24.
Oh, I love that cover. That's a good one.
So that's a great story. The Fantastic Four are just like in New York City, and this
Mhm.
this alien creature comes down and starts like forming giant bottles and toys, and it turns out it's this baby of a really powerful alien race. And Reed Richards uses his tech to like call out across the galaxy, and he finds his parents, and the alien's parents have to come pick him up. Like he's a really small creature, and I love when they use that trope of like a small creature having a ton of power. Like he
Yeah.
was just like putting the Fantastic Four in toys just for fun and stuff. They couldn't do anything against him, so they had to call in his parents. So that's why it's called the Infant Terrible.
So that was pre Franklin Richards. So he didn't
Correct.
have
Yes.
Franklin around to
This is a cool
counterbalance.
one. 27, the first Doctor Strange crossover ever.
Oh man. That is a cool one.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then 28 goes into the first X-Men, original
Yes.
X-Men team.
Man, these are some sick books.
29 is the first cover appearance of the Watcher.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's probably my
Yeah.
favorite out of the ones we've seen so far. I
The cosmic cover of
like
it.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then I'll just buzz through because like even when you start going like a lot of these are just like the first appearance of Dragon Man, but then you get to 45 and you've got first Inhumans.
Oh yeah, that's a book that I would love to own someday.
Yeah, this was
That's
cool
on
to
my
pick
list to
up.
get.
51
That's
is just
awesome
a
book.
classic. This Man, This Monster, one of the best stories ever written. I feel like in 48 issue 48 to 49, 51, 52 is when Stanley and Jack Kirby really hit their stride. There's some just great writing. This story of Ben turns back to normal. He's great. Trying to come with grips about being the Thing. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
great story. And then classic Silver Surfer Thing battle cover.
Yes.
second appearance of the Claw, I think.
Cool.
Classic Doom cover.
Yep, that one's awesome. Got the space background. That's a really cool cover.
Cosmic. Any Doom covers, like you can't go wrong. Doom and Thing battle covers. It's been really fun to put this run together.
Dude, I bet. Because like you don't see these every day. These aren't books that I see when I'm going through bins.
No, you had to hunt. And then online has made that possible. So, I know people have their problems and whatnot. I get that. It's taken me, I've been on there for over a year now to watch and figure out who the good sellers are, and then I found like 2 or 3 reputable good sellers that have fair prices. And most of the time they end up being comic shops. So I am supporting a comic shop in one way because they're streaming right from their shop, or I hit them up on Instagram and I get books through there. So it doesn't always have to be through Whatnot. I can, like Whatnot's like, don't take these books. And, they're very particular about you staying on Whatnot with it. But if I find someone on my own on Instagram, and that's what I really used Whatnot for, was a way to find these sellers elsewhere. So it's been a labor of love, but it's been really, really fun. And I read every raw book I get in, and then if it's slabbed, I read it online. Saturday morning is my coffee time before my kids get up to read a couple comics and just have my moment here in my nerd space, I think we all need that in our lives.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And that's what it's all about, though, is having fun, collecting the runs. And yeah, man, it's just a good time. That's what it's supposed to be. And I really enjoyed checking out those books because, like I was saying, those are not books that I get to see every day. So I really appreciate you showing them to us, man. And thanks for coming and hanging out with us, dude.
Dude, it's been Scotty, like you said, I met you on Immortal Biggie Shack's channel. That was the first time I hung out with you. And I've been talking to you through the Legion chat, so I knew who you were, and I've been watching your content. Yep. And then I just kept watching your stuff. You were on my you were on my second Big 5 Live.
Yep.
You're on my second Big 5 Live.
Yep.
And, I really, like I said, I identify with, your story of addiction and how you overcame that and use comics. That means a lot to me. And because my dad was an alcoholic, we've talked about that multiple times. And so your story is really important to me, and I'm proud of you. And,
thank you.
It's a success story. You like to hear success stories, and you've done that. And I really look up to you for that because I know how tough it is. And, this is a great way to spend our Friday, Saturday, Monday nights, is streaming with friends, and I feel like I made all these friends from all over the world, and I have friends from Finland and now all over the United States, and it's great. I don't have to, I preach to the choir here, right?
Dude, man, it's been so much fun, and getting to meet people like you, dude, it's a blast. It really is, man. And I feel fortunate to have people like you and the people watching right now. It's kind of like a safety net for my recovery. So it's become so much more than even just a hobby and friendships. It's like part of my recovery and who I am. And it's awesome. It's really a beautiful thing. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Brandon. Thank you so much, man. What do you got coming up?
Reach out whenever you need to, man. What's that?
You got anything? What do you got coming up on your channel? Anything cool?
Yeah. So this week I'm not putting out a video because I've got the Big 5 Live on Saturday. And Friday I'm going on Colossus's channel for Christmas with cousin Colossus.
I actually sent him a clip for that, so I'll be in it for like 10 seconds.
Nice. So I got that, but then I'm hosting 4 members of the Codex Comic Station. So if you don't know what the Codex Comic Station is, look them up. It's pretty much a creative collaborative team that put out a bunch of different content. So there's all sorts of different creators on this channel. They have a website. They're wonderful people. I'm hosting Wes, Tim, Sal, the Slab guy, and one they call Uncle Gary. So if you're going to watch, go to their channel and watch some of their content. Uncle Gary did a museum tour of his museum in his house.
Yeah.
It'll make you cry. It's just what he's curated and put together is kind of the dream of every collector, and he has his fingertips. So I'm hosting them. It's a really unique opportunity. Usually my Big 5 Live is like I pull 4 different creators from 4 different corners. This is my first show where I've got 4 creators from the same channel. So awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. And then just, try to ride out the holidays. I'm sure there'll be some streams where we'll be jumping out with people. If the Comic Collectors Club throws up a, bat signal, I might jump over there with them, and hope you do too. So that's what I got coming up.
Well, dude, that's cool, man. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing everything that you have coming up. And if you do jump on the Collectors Club, I'll try to jump on there again and get in a little rematch with you since you took me out last time with those foils.
I'll hit you up on Instagram, but I'll be talking to you anyways. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out, man. I'm always around.
Yeah, of course, man. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks again, dude. It's been so much fun. And I wanted to thank you guys at home, everybody that came out to hang out with us and watch tonight. I really appreciate you guys. I wanted to tell you guys next week I will have Fable, one collection down. PCP Bad Batch. He will be here hanging out. And it's gonna be a fun time. And I'm actually gonna be over there with those guys hanging out on his channel this Saturday at I think it's 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. So
Nice.
We're kind of swapping out. So yeah, next Monday, Fable will be hanging out. Episode 48 of Comic Book Addicts. So I hope that you guys will come back and hang out with me then. But for now, if you aren't already headed over to Between the Lines, head on over to Geek Out with Roscoe for a brand new Between the Lines. And I'm going to end it how we always do with some Biggie Shack. If I can find it. We'll see you guys later.
I'd say that one is a banger, man. It's a real certified banger, dude.